Hey guys, hope everyone's going well. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a live stream on talking about why you shouldn't wait until after Christmas to be able to get training. Okay, so coming up to that time of the year, everyone's starting to, well, the season's wrapping up, racing's wrapping up, going on holidays, Christmas time, New Year, all that exciting stuff. Okay, certain businesses get busier towards Christmas. Retail, everyone wants to go and buy Christmas presents and get their shopping done. Likewise, in the trades, everyone wants to be able to get into their house before Christmas time. So everyone's under the pump. Everyone's busy. Okay, and I want to talk to you guys about why we can't hold off until after Christmas time. So we'll wait a little bit for a few people to be able to jump on board and jump in on the live stream. I was going to update Instagram, but I have my phone on live stream, so that's not going to happen. But if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at AndrewHammer_DAT. So that's AndrewHammer_DAT. And so I'll post a bit of my training on there as well, and also update my story, let you guys know a bit of behind the scenes stuff of what's happening during the day. So the first thing I want to talk about with you guys is being able to, why you shouldn't, the three reasons why you shouldn't wait until after Christmas time to be able to start your training. This is something we hear a lot, specifically at this time of the year, okay? People are low on drive, low on motivation, or lower than what they are because the season's come to an end. They've been training hard, they've been racing hard all year, everything comes to an end. They want to be able to rest, have a break, have time away, whatever reason they come up with, and then be able to get started next year. So this whole New Year's resolution, New Year, fresh start, everything's going to be different in the new year, okay? Which is obviously a load of bullshit. So what we need to be able to, the three reasons is, number one, I've got them written down here. So if you see me looking over, that's what I'm looking over. The first thing that we need to be able to take into account when holding off our training is the effect of detraining. Okay, so detraining causes what we call muscular atrophy. So pretty much what that means is our muscle mass starts to decline, our strength starts to decline, our cardio starts to decline, our lung capacity declines, our flexibility starts to decline if we're not moving around. Okay, everything starts to go backwards, and that's the biggest mistake racers make, is assuming that when they stop training, that they'll hold on to that level of fitness and just be able to pick up from where they left off. Okay, have the next 2 months or next 6 weeks off leading up until Christmas, and then just get cracking on the 2nd of January, which is a Monday, okay, and be able to start rolling again. Now, what happens over this 6 weeks? So today is the 15th, so I think it's roughly 6 weeks until Christmas time to a new year. What happens is that we actually start to go backwards. So training is all about adaptation, okay? So we do exercises, we stress the body a little bit, okay? And then we grow from that, okay? We become fitter, we become stronger, we become better, okay, as an athlete. So it's important to be able to know that, so that when we're leading up to Christmas time, if we're taking the next 6 weeks off, that's going to mean that then after that, we're not just going to pick up from where we left off on the 2nd of January. What that's going to mean is we now have to make up for this 6 weeks that we've actually gone backwards, okay? So let's just say you've been training all year, you've been training harder, you're getting fitter, faster, stronger as you go through the year, and then we have the next 6 weeks off training because you're busy, because you're on holidays, because you want to have a break, whatever it is, okay? Everything starts to go backwards over that 6 weeks. It's not just that we miss out on 6 weeks of training. Hey, Matthew. It's not just that we miss out on 6 weeks of training, we actually go backwards over that 6 weeks, okay? And that's something important that we need to be able to focus on, we need to be able to drill, because a lot of people get caught up in the seasons of racing, okay? And there's no seasons for exercise, there's no seasons for training, there's no season for being in peak condition, okay? And we need to be able to make sure that we get out of that cycle of having a season, and it's something that's part of our lifestyle that we do all the time. So with that detraining, getting back on track, with that 6 weeks, we start to come backwards. So that means that then when we start off, so let's just say from now, okay? Let's say you're one of these riders, you're one of these racers that wants to have the rest of the year off and you want to get cracking next year after you've spent all your money on Christmas presents and going out and holidays and all the rest of it, okay? And you get started. That means over this 6 weeks, when we then get started on the 2nd of January, what that means is that we're then going to have to take the next 6 weeks then to be able to get back to where we are now. Okay, so let's just say you've been training up until this point, you have the next 6 weeks off, and then takes roughly another 6 weeks to be able to get back to where we are now. Okay, so overall, we've actually taken 12 weeks to get back to where I am now. 12 weeks, okay, and 12 weeks is about 3 months. That's 25% of the year. Okay, so imagine being able, most riders and racers do that. Okay, they take that time off. So imagine being the person that doesn't take that time off, that hustles, that pushes through, that gets the help you need, does the training, puts in the work. You can get an extra 25% work done compared to everyone else. Okay, you can get another 25% increase in in fitness, another 25% to be able to work on your weaknesses. Okay, you're getting another 3 months in the racing season, another 3 months in the year that most riders and racers aren't getting. Okay, they're just not doing the work. They're choosing to take the time off. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about. The second reason that you guys need to be able to push through and not wait until the 2nd of January is that what we need to be able to look at next is routine. Okay, so with our bodies, with our lifestyle, the best way to be able to be consistent with our training is having a routine. Okay, we have a certain amount of sessions we do each week. We plan out all our sessions. We know exactly what we're doing. We have specific times and days that we go to training, and we stick to that routine. If you've developed that routine over the year and you've been doing that all year, all season, and then we get to the last 6 weeks, okay, we get up until now, okay, the 15th of November, and you decide to take the next 6 weeks off, it puts us out of routine, okay? So something that was part of our lifestyle and part of what we're doing is now no longer part of what we were doing. And it's not a habit anymore. Okay, it's not something we just do, which means that when we go back into training, it's going to be much harder to be able to get into it because you're not going to have that routine. You're not going to have that habit. You're going to develop new routines and new habits. That might be going out drinking, going out clubbing, going to pubs, eating shit, not training, not going riding as much. Okay, a whole heap of stuff. And we start to develop these other habits. Now, that might seem easy at the moment because you're in that motivated, driven state. But once you get into that 6 weeks and then you start to develop the habits of sleeping in more, spending more hours at home, not being as active, then what happens is when we come to the start of next year, it's a lot harder to be able to build that routine, build that habit again. So we have inconsistent training. Your training's not as good. You're not as motivated. You pull up more sore because you haven't been doing any exercise. You start to affect the following sessions. The work that you were doing this year when you were squatting 60 kilos this year was easy. And then you've gone to squat 60 kilos and it feels like it's your 1RM, okay, your max lift, because you haven't been doing the training. You haven't been putting the work. You pull up sore. Everything's not as you remember it. Okay, so it becomes a lot harder to get it back into routine. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 is the end result. Okay, so with your training, you can't expect to be at peak levels of fitness straight away. Okay, and it takes about 3 months at minimum if you've gone from no training. So let's just say you have the next 6 weeks off. It takes about 12 weeks to be able to get into a half decent state. Okay, it's a half decent level of fitness that's going to allow you to be able to perform out on the track and be ready to race. So you need to be able to take that into account, and you need to be able to know that now. So if we're looking at that as a 12-week period, as 3 months, okay, that's going to get us into our peak state. If we're starting on the 2nd of January, that means by the time we come to the start of April, we're going to be in our peak condition. Now, the start of April is when the season's already cracking, when the season's already going. So obviously, you don't want to just be getting into your peak state when the season's already kicked off. You want to make sure that you're in your peak level of fitness, peak level of race fitness in the preseason. You want to make sure that you get into preseason and you've got that peak level of fitness. You have that high level of stamina, endurance, strength, all the weaknesses that you needed to work on. But in preseason, so that when you're going riding during preseason, when you're ramping up your hours on the bike at the start of next year, that's going to mean that you have that fitness there already and you can just focus your time on the bike. Too many riders and racers try to cram everything and rush everything in at the start of the season. Okay, they know the race season's coming up and it's like they get scared. They're like, oh shit, I've got to get heaps of training in. I've got to get my bike ready. I've got to get this ready. I've got to get that ready. When really the training component should have been well and truly taken care of before Christmas time. Okay, you should be at your peak state by Christmas time, by January. Okay, so that pre-season you can just spend all your time on the bike. You've got your routine nailed with your training. You're not trying to battle, trying to get into a routine, trying to eat the right stuff, trying to learn what you need to do, trying to tweak your fitness, as well as trying to get the bike ready. Okay, and what we all know, and I know as well, is when you get new bikes, you get new gear, you get all excited about that stuff, and you start to spend all your attention on that stuff. You spend all your attention on the bike, on the gear, on that side of things, that you start to neglect and forget about yourself. So you need to be able, while you've got that time off, okay, or while you have that time away from the bike, or not as intense as what it is during the season, you need to be able to focus that time now on being able to make sure that we develop that routine and making sure that we mapped out, knowing that, okay, it's going to take about 3 months of hard training for me to be able to get the results I need to be race ready, then I need to be able to get started now. Okay, so they're the 3 reasons. So number 1, detraining. Our training goes backwards over the 6 weeks. Okay, number 2 is routine. We put ourselves out of routine. Okay, when we take time off, we have to build a routine again. We have to build new habits. Okay, we have to undo the ones we developed over the 6 weeks. And then the next thing is the end result, knowing that the end result is not going to be with your training at the end of week 1. Okay, it takes at least 3 months, at least 12 weeks of hard, dedicated training to be able to see noticeable differences with your fitness, okay, out on the bike. So you need to be able to take that into account now, which means that we need to be able to get started now. You can't be holding off, you can't be pushing forward, waiting until end of Christmas time, start of New Year, New Year's resolutions, all the rest of the bullshit. You need to get started now, okay? You should have been started already. If you haven't, you need to get your ass into gear and get cracking, okay? So there's a few things. Just tag if you have anyone that has developed this mind, to anyone you know that is waiting for the new year, okay, that's waiting for the New Year's resolution, okay, get them started now. Tag them on this video. Let them know that they need to be able to get started now. Give them a head start. Help your friends out. Help your other racers out by being able to give them the right information so that they can tackle next year and be the best they can for next race season. Make that the best race season yet. So there's the 3 things, guys, for you to be able to focus on. Hope you've all had a great day. Like I said before, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, hit up AndrewHammer_DAT. And you can follow some of my stuff on Instagram as well. So I'll post up some stuff that I get up to during the day, and I put my own training up there as well, so you guys might be interested in following that. All the best, guys, and remember, train hard, race harder. See you guys.